Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chatty. Welcome to my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, where I'm going to be chatting away madly about my November stats, because it's stat time again. On this channel, everything is one long continuous take. I only have the power of pause, so prepare for chaos. Clink, 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 clink. And for everyone who has clocked that I wore this coral shirt in my previous video where I spoke about my November TBR, yes, I am doing back-to-back filming. Well done. I haven't even moved from this spot on the sofa. But the videos are coming out, so needs must. So I'm going to go through talking specifically and reflecting on my reading month about what I have been reading. I did say in my October stat video that I did a TBR of October and November, and I was going to reflect on it in November. So let's do that first. Usually I like to line all the books up on my windowsill, but I'm filming downstairs instead of upstairs, and I don't have all those books. So I'm just going to talk you through what the ones that I came up in my November TBR and whether or not I read them. If you want to know what my November and October TBR is, I have the video here, so you can go and check that out. So I had a couple of series spins. The first one was Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, which is the second book in the Arc of the Scythe, which I wanted to read. But I didn't get around to that one, so I didn't read Thunderhead. I did a second series spin and I got a Tangle of Spells, which is the third book by Michelle Harrison in the Pinch of Magic series. And I did read that one, so that's one for my TBR. I then had a genre card, and I got middle grade and then I got contemporary, and I went for The Haunting of Avaline Jones by Phil Hicks. This is a sort of middle grade horror, but it's got a contemporary setting, so I felt that was broad enough to fit. A little bit of a stretch. I then did a 30-second prompt and utterly failed to get an epic book. For that one, I did choose One Dark Window, which I did read in October. One Dark Window is not epic, not even remotely. I was hoping that we would have like a very kind of like full-on detailed backstory, land, political houses, all of that stuff. We did not. So that's not epic. What is epic, however, was the second book I chose for my 30-second prompt, because I had to do it again, and that is The Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. Definitely epic. There is a land, we have got battles, we have got history layers in here. There is a lot of stuff going on in this book. Very epic. But I did pick this one for the next 30-second prompt, which was to pick an elephant-sized book, which is a book over 500 pages. So far, 3 out of 5 on the TBR. Oh no, because I did read One Dark Window, so that would still count. So 4 out of 5, so that's pretty good. I then read, that was it. I had the TBR failed jar, and that one was March, so I never got around to reading it in March, which I really should have done. But I read it now and it was worth the wait, and that is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichols, so I definitely read that one. I then got A Lucky Ladder, which is to choose a book that you are anticipating, and for that I chose Black Water Sister by Zen Cho, because I have been anticipating this for so long. And I've read it. And finally, no, not finally, I then had another Lucky Ladder, which was to read a recent acquisition, and I went to the library and I got Fable House, so I put Fable House in there, which I did also read. And the final one was A Worrying Worm, and that was to read my oldest book, which was Let's Call It a Doomsday, which I didn't read. So out of 9, because I had to spin twice for the 30-second one, I read 7 books. Well, I've only got 6 here. I've only got 6. Because One Dark Window I read in October. Okay, great. I read 7 books. So Thunderhead I just didn't get to, because it wasn't really like a spooky book. And in terms of tackling my series, I really wanted to focus on getting the Ember and the Ashes quartet finished, because I can still remember the plot of Arc of the Scythe. It doesn't go into there wasn't too much that I needed to get lost in, whereas there was a lot going on in the Ember and the Ashes quartet, and I was like, I cannot leave, I need to read this now before I forget, before it's too long since I read the third and I totally forget. I need to refresh my brain. And Let's Call It a Doomsday, again, it just didn't happen. Again, it's not one that was like particularly giving me those sort of spooky vibes, so that one I still haven't read. Still remains read on the shelves, but I will read it at some point. It will happen. However, I'm happy that I managed to read most of what was on my TBR, so that's awesome. So I'm now going to look at the age range that I covered with my books for November. That's a lie. I'm not. I'm going to tell you all the other books I read in November. So the ones I've spoken about on my TBR, we have Fable House by E.L. Norrie, Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho, A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol, A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir, The Haunting of Avaline Jones by Phil Hicks, and A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. I also have to add on top of that High Rise Mystery and Mic Drop by Shauna Jackson, plus Linden Falls by Joshua Hersey, The Conductors by Nicole Glover, Belladonna, and Foxglove by Adeline Grace. Read a flipping lot in November. Whoa. Which is surprising because it has felt like there's been a lot going on. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 books in November. Oh, that's a lot. That is a lot. So I'm now going to break it into age ranges. Of those 12, 6 of those books were middle grade. So that is High Rise Mystery, Mic Drop, A Tangle of Spells, The Haunting of Avaline Jones, Fable House, and A Kind of Spark. 3 of them were YA, which is Sky Beyond the Storm, Foxglove, and Belladonna. And 3 were adult, which is Linden Falls, The Conductors, and Blackwater Sister. 9 of these books are mine. So Tangle of Spells, Haunting of Avaline Jones, Blackwater Sister, The Conductors, Linden Falls, Kind of Spark, Sky Beyond the Storm, Foxglove, and Belladonna, all my books. And then I got 3 from the library. That is Fable House, High Rise Mystery, and Mic Drop. And all of those books were novels. And just doing the math, 10 of them were physical books and 2 of them were audiobooks. In terms of genres, I read 1 contemporary, which is A Kind of Spark. I read 1 horror, which is The Haunting of Avaline Jones. I read 2 mysteries, which is High Rise Mystery and Mic Drop. Although I have some crossovers here, and there are mystery aspects in The Conductors, Foxglove, and Belladonna as well. Although I think they do kind of fit more into a different category. I would also say The Conductors has aspects of historical, well, The Conductors is also historical fiction, but mainly I would put all 3 of these with the fantasy. So that means the fantasy is, if I can get the spines the right way around, surprisingly the most read genre. And that is Fable House, Tangle of Spells, Sky Beyond the Storm, Blackwater Sister, Linden Falls, Belladonna, Foxglove, and The Conductors. In terms of sizes, I have 4 mouse-sized books, which is a book over 151 to 300 pages. So that's A Kind of Spark, The Haunting of Avaline Jones, High Rise Mystery, and Mic Drop. I have 4 books that are a goat-sized book. So that is a book that is between 301 to 400 pages, and that is Linden Falls, Fable House, Tangle of Spells, and Blackwater Sister. I have 3 books that are cow-sized books, which is 401 to 500 pages. That's The Conductors, Belladonna, and Foxglove. Then I have 1 book that is over 500 pages, and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm, which is an elephant-sized book. So 501 to 700 is elephant-sized. In terms of my series, I recently did up to date with my series video, so if you're interested in knowing a full picture of my series, I will link it here. But I am now up to date with the Belladonna series, having just read Foxglove. I have finished A Sky Beyond the Storm. No, I finished the Ember Quartet by reading A Sky Beyond the Storm. I have progressed in the Widdowson Sisters by reading A Tangle of Magic. So that's one up to date, one finished, one progressed. But I have then started 2 new series. So I've started The Haunting of Avaline Jones, and I have started the Magic and Murder series with The Conductors. I have one reread, which is Belladonna. The other 11 were all new reads to me. In terms of reading Global Majority, which is one of my goals, I have 6 books which are white Eurocentric. That is Belladonna, Foxglove, Linden Falls, The Haunting of Avaline Jones, Tangle of Spells, and A Kind of Spark. But then I have 6 books which are Global Majority. So I have High Rise, I have Mic Drop, I have Fable House, Blackwater Sister, The Conductors, and Sky Beyond the Storm. Which means I have reached finally the 50-50. I want to be, my goal is to have half of what I'm reading being Global Majority, and I have finally done it this month. So yay, that is a very good feeling. I'm now going to talk about the diversity in the books. So because I've already kind of done Global Majority, I'm just going to do that one again. So I have 4 books by Black authors. So that is Mic Drop, High Rise Mystery, Fable House, and The Conductors. Then I have 2 Asian authors, Sabah Tahir and Zen Cho. And that's all of that. For disability representation, I have not got, I don't think there's any physical disability represented in any of these books. I'm just trying to think through Sky Beyond the Storm. And no, there isn't, none of the main characters. So no physical disabilities represented, and I think just one, yeah, there wasn't any mental health depiction or kind of grief like explicitly showed in any of these. No. Could have had some mental health in Blackwater Sister, but it very much wasn't. No, so the only so I have just one neurodivergent book to talk about, which is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. And in terms of LGBT protagonists, I've only got one, and that is Blackwater Sister. So in part from the Global Majority, in terms of like reading diversely, not such a great reading month, this one. And that brings me on to what was my favourite and least favourite book. So sadly, just because it wasn't my vibe, my least favourite book was Linden Falls. I do love a fantasy, but I'm very much more a character-driven reader rather than kind of a plot and action reader. So I didn't get the kind of the character connections that I wanted to, and kind of the emotional impact from this one. In terms of favourite book, there were so many good ones. The ones that kind of really stuck out for so many of the middle grade ones are just so good. Just so good. Just so good. I loved all my middle grades. I love a middle grade. I loved all my middle grades. They were all amazing. These 3 were all really, really special. They are some of my favourite books. Foxglove was just utter delight and joy. It was so delicious. I couldn't stop reading. The Conductors I love. Hetty and her family, and was just really loved the kind of the slow build of this one, with the finding out more about the magic and the little family unit, and kind of just hanging out with all those characters. And Blackwater Sister, Zencho is just wonderful. The amusing chaos in her books, the humour, the strong protagonists, I love it. And on top of that, with this one, you got an exploration of identity as well. So that was all wonderful. But my favourite book has to be, it's the one where I have like a very strong emotional reaction to it. That tends to be what ticks something over into a favourite, when I just really feel a lot of stuff. And so my favourite book this month is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. It was just so impactful. Just the way, when you start reading it, you are immediately like gripped, full of empathy for this character. You want to know how things are going to go in her life. You want to know more about her. And the more you read, the more you don't want to put this book down. And I had happy tears and sad tears in this book. And it was, I just think it's so important to read. I just think it's so important. Like, as a neurotypical person, I don't know what it's like for someone who is neurodivergent. I don't know the exhaustion of having to mask all the time, of how things can be extra difficult when you are so much more sensitive to things going on around you. I do not know any of that, which is why books are so important, for allowing you to step into someone else's shoes and experience what they experience and get a deeper understanding of what it's like. And this book was just incredible. So yeah, A Kind of Spark was my favourite. But it's tough. I read 12 books this month, and it was a really good reading month for me. Yeah, I haven't yet started reading in December. I've just finished off a couple of these ones. There's a lot going on. I do not feel I'm going to get anywhere near close to 12 in December. But I have ticked a lot more books off my Read What You Own challenge. So Belladonna does not count because this is a reread. But pretty much, oh, and Fable House is a library book, and of course so was High Rise Mystery and Mic Drop. But everything else counts. So I have got 8 books that have gone towards my Read What You Own challenge. So I am a lot closer to my end goal. But will I make it in time? We do not know. We do not know. We will have to wait and see. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Do get chatty in the comments if you've got any thoughts and opinions about anything that I've spoken about. Let me know, what was your favourite book that you read in the month of November? You know I love a chat. Now go and enjoy yourself, go and do some reading, have a wonderful time, try not to stress, and I will see you soon. Happy reading, everyone.